Hello everyone, and welcome to my Sister Wives For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. To me, a specific episode in Sister Wives past was unquestionably the turning point that made Robyn Brown a villain. Kody has long dreamed of having a big family with many of kids. In the early 1990s, Kody wed Mary, then Janelle and Christine, creating a plural marriage. But after meeting Robyn, Kody's priorities changed. Tension arose among the original wives as he gave Robyn's wants more and more importance. The cohesiveness of the family broke down as a result of these interactions. After splitting from Mary, Janelle, and Christine, Kody is currently monogamous with Robyn and no longer in multiple marriages. Robyn was initially favored by many viewers since she was seen to be one of Kody's most loyal and obedient wives. Robyn really embraced the ideals of polygamy and came across as sympathetic and helpful on television. Robyn frequently took on shared parenting responsibilities and helped with the other spouse's children, giving the impression that she was a dedicated and helpful member of the multiple home. Robyn seemed to really enjoy being a part of Kody's huge family. But when her true hues were exposed by the peeling paint, she was unable to maintain this look indefinitely. In the 2011 episode, an anxious Robyn finally tells the family about her impending pregnancy. Kody was the one who said, "Truly won't be the small one anymore in 7.5 months. The older children's reactions were completely understandable, as was Janelle's, but Kody's words gave the impression that he was pushing his youngest aside to make room for a new child with his new wife, replacing Truly and having no more room for her in his life. To his family, including the rest of his children, and most of them didn't react with a smile. Mariah and Leon's glum expressions were due to their expectation that their mother would give them a new sibling, but more significantly, Robyn did gain villain status for telling Mary about her pregnancy first despite knowing that she had fertility issues. They had recently moved and were still attempting to settle in when they learned that another baby was on the way. From Janelle's point of view, especially when considering things practically and economically, this meant that they would have to provide for another person with already limited resources. There could have been more consideration given to Robyn's pregnancy announcement during Mary's dinner party at her house, but she showed that she was self-centered and wanted pity for the way the kids responded to the news. Mary and Kody were in a sexless marriage, and he had told her he didn't want any more children, but here he was, having babies with Robyn. Although it would have been preferable for Kody to not surprise his children on camera with such delicate information, this incident became a turning point in Robyn's reputation. Viewers gradually began to see a different side of Robyn over the years, one that was very different from the image she presented on screen. Interestingly, Robyn rarely pushed Kody to interact with his other wives, which raised concerns about her role in the family's increasing estrangement. Robyn gradually seemed to take on the role of the family's matriarch, as if she saw herself as superior to the others, and her influence over Kody's decisions grew significantly, giving her a degree of authority and emotional connection that the other wives did not seem to share. It will be difficult for Robyn to improve her public image because many viewers have found her emotional outbursts during small arguments to be insincere, and fans have nicknamed her Sobin, in response to what they see as manipulative or exaggerated crying. If Robyn had helped Kody maintain his relationships with Mary, Janelle, and Christine, she might have gained admiration. Instead, many believe she put herself first, which hurts her reputation. In order to regain her likability, Robyn may need to be more genuine and less calculated in her presentation to the family and Sister Wives viewers. "It all went bad, it all went south," Christine explained, describing how a text message argument over a 2021 holiday gift exchange grew especially ugly for the 18 Brown children. Kody and Robyn and their kids were on one side, and they wanted nothing to do with Janelle, me, and our kids. And following this text thread, there was a division. But it was never anything about, "We don't want to see you again, we don't want anything to do with you," Robyn insisted, adding that her 3 older children felt the exchange was emotionally unsafe and that they needed to distance themselves from the relationship. It was just about like, "Hey, this got yucky." Gabriel, for his part, hopes they can track each other down again. In the October 13th episode, he admitted, The thing I want most is to just have a relationship with Robyn's children again. My favorite person to hang out with in middle school was Aurora. And I was constantly trying to get close to Dayton in high school. However, I'm not optimistic about a relationship with Robyn and Dad. When Aurora's mother married Kody in 2010, she insisted on joining the family, saying, "I've been told directly, multiple circumstances by multiple different people, that I was not accepted, that I wasn't their sister, and that they didn't think or perceive me that way." Brianna, her sister, also expressed her opinion that the parents could have done a better job with, connecting us as a family, and it never really happened. Christine, however, is unsure of how they may have extended their embrace. Robyn's kids and Robyn were invited to everything, she maintained. "I would just say, just come into the house anytime you want." She also mentioned that Michael T. Brown Padron lived with Robyn's children for a while, and that her daughter Isabel Brown was very close to them. "There were hard times and my kids were frustrated, but they always considered Robyn's kids their siblings just the same. When it's working properly, you have this amazing family unit that you're part of, a community that you're plugged into," Janelle remarked, gushing over the independence she was granted in plural marriage. "You have everything you need, including a wonderful connection with your spouse. After that, I am completely independent. Therefore, plural marriage seemed like a really wonderful arrangement to me." But Kody would never again say "I do" to polygamy. "Polygamy kills emotional intimacy," he said in the show on December 1st. "It makes everybody defensive, and I really want an emotionally vulnerable, intimate relationship with a woman, and you're not going to get that in polygamy." According to Janelle, once the family moved to Arizona from Las Vegas in 2018, Kody found it more difficult to split his affections. "I'm really tired," she said on the September 29th show, adding, "Kody found it a lot easier to be away when he moved to Flagstaff. A couple of times I had to remind him that he needed to come to my house." She also revealed that he would try to beg off because he was fatigued. "You can rest at my house just as much as you can at Robyn's house," I said. The problem for Christine's children, however, was that they saw that Robyn and their dad were a couple and he wasn't in our home. Janelle described the separateness her brood felt with Robyn, saying, "My children were scolded if they would open up Robyn's fridge." Robyn added that her crew was aware of the division. "Mary, across the board, was very accepting of my kids and I, but the rest of the family really struggled to accept my kids and I," she said in the episode on September 29th. "All we wanted to do was be a part of this family." However, Gabriel would contend that he and his siblings made a concerted effort to include them. In the episode that aired on October 13th, he stated, "I think that Robyn definitely has a victim complex, to put it plainly. And for that, I don't necessarily hold her accountable. I believe that various people come up with different ways to stay afloat." But he continued, "If she actually believes that we were mistreating her or her children in any way when she was constantly getting favorited by Dad, and we were always working on our relationship with her kids, if she actually believes that, then there's no chance of me having a relationship with Robyn ever again." In the September 29th episode, Kody talked about how his and Robyn's youngest child, Ariella, who was born in January 2016, clung to his leg as he tried to depart, demonstrating how having their dad move between 4 different houses did have an impact on his 18 children. "There's another wife who needs me, another mother," I had to tell her. "And she's just dragging along on my leg screaming, 'Don't leave me, Daddy, don't leave me.' And I'm like, golly, man, this is hard." Kody explained, "I have other kids that need to see me." Janelle insisted, "Unfortunately, that's just a reality of plural marriage." From the very beginning, she continued, her children understood that their father would not be there all the time. "I've always thought Robyn and Kody handled her kids' problems poorly. Ari gets really depressed or something, so he couldn't be gone for longer than 3 or 4 days. I think that was a bad parenting move. The other children have done it throughout the family's history, and they're doing just fine. They are mature, well-adjusted individuals." During Kody's divorces, Michael T., a mother of 3 and one of the few Brown children still close to Robyn and Kody, as well as Christine and Janelle, played the role of peacekeeper. Robyn was close to Kody from the time she joined the Brown family, and she was even invited to attend the birth of her twins, Archer and Ace, in November 2022. I was trying to figure out who I was when Robyn first joined the family, and she made me feel special, and she made me feel seen, Kody said in the episode that aired on September 29th. Robyn was there for me when I needed somebody. When I needed someone to listen to me and show me love, she was there. I was so excited about having a plural family, and I was hoping that my kids would have a great relationship with other moms, Christine, her mother, said in the October 6th episode, and it was everything that I hoped for when Robyn came in the family, and it was obvious she and Kody had a great relationship. In the October 6th episodes, Kody discussed his estrangement from some of his older children and said, "I am only guilty of not falling madly in love with their mothers." He feels that his wives are not the only ones who have taken him away from their lives. "They're purposely leaving me out of their lives to punish me for a crime I did not commit," he explained. Furthermore, he added, he believes his ex-spouses share some of the responsibility. "It's like, well, blame Dad." He stated, "This discrepancy in my relationship with my kids is directly in my mind because of SD talk. There's this tornado of disappointment from the family breaking up or anything. Dad made a mistake." Kody revealed that he was having trouble connecting with Hunter, Maddie, and Gabriel, and that one of his children replied to a text message saying, "You are a piece of trash." Although he can take some of the blame, he finds the name-calling offensive. "In any case, I would never talk to you again. I've had one of my kids just say, 'You're an a-hole,'" he told cameras earlier in a different instance. "I will never speak to you again. You brainwashed me and controlled me." And that's the poison he doesn't want to deal with. "I'm willing to make the effort, but somebody else is going to have to be on the other end of that and make some effort too," he said, adding that he believes his grown-ups should be doing more to make things better. Robyn found it extremely painful to witness Kody's alienation from his grown children. During the October 6th show, she stated, "My parents divorced when I was a child. He lived with one wife in another city, and then my mom lived alone. I recall asking what happened to my biological father. Why? It was terrible that all he did was offer a series of weak justifications for why he didn't support me when I was younger. I'm having a hard time feeling like losing respect for you a little bit," she said during their heated on-camera disagreement in late 2022, indicating that she wasn't going to let Kody's hurt feelings prevent him from trying. Kody also admitted that he might be doing more to improve his relationship with his children, but he insisted that he must first heal his heart. He disclosed that he believes some of his children are colluding against me, saying, "I'm so upset about what has transpired that if I speak to my children, I'm afraid they'll accuse me. I'm too impulsive at the moment. I'll only cause more harm." When Janelle and Kody's oldest son Logan married his now-wife Michelle Petty in October 2022, a large portion of the family was present, but they weren't quite feeling the love. In the October 6th episode, Kody complained to Robyn, "You saw Madison take her kids and scuttle them away from me." He also mentioned that his daughter, Josephine, had not informed him that she was expecting her third child, which was born in February 2023. Since they don't talk much, Maddie doesn't really tell her dad anything. Janelle clarified why her daughter avoided Kody at the wedding by saying, "Really, Maddie doesn't have any contact with him. She is fiercely protective of her kids. Since Evie was born and Evie was 3.5 years old, Kody has not been present." Additionally, she didn't want him to simply walk in and say, "Oh, I'm your grandpa," to which they would respond, "What? Who is this man?" In reference to Maddie's life in North Carolina, Kody stated, "It's unrealistic expectation for grandparents to be in their grandchildren's lives all the time, especially if you move your children to an entirely different coast. I have work and a life in Flagstaff." One recurring issue is Kody's insistence on some kind of mea culpa, even though it's evident that he and his adult children have quite different perspectives on their continued separation. After the COVID scare was over and we all went back to our normal lives, we still couldn't reconcile as a family because Kody felt like the boys needed to give an apology to him and to Robyn, especially to Robyn, Janelle said of her sons in the October 13th incident. "And after it sort of morphed into this, well, they just need to come and talk to me." And the most precious person in this family who's given her heart and soul has been disrespected or some bull's tea like that, Janelle added, summarizing Kody's problem, which was that he believed his children had not been faithful to him. And I'm like, whatever, Kody. Yeah, whatever. Gabriel took a similar stand, recounting a discussion he had with his father. He kept phrasing it like I owed him an apology, he told Janelle on the subject. Eventually, I was just like, hey, unless you're actually ready to have a relationship and fix things, then we're not going to talk anymore. He came back a couple of days later and texted me. He's like, hey, I've been thinking about what you've been saying. I forgive you. Please forgive me. I was like, forgive me for what? Kody only sees his youngest child, Savannah, out of the 6 he and Janelle have. It's not frequently, but every couple months he'll call and they'll go out, Janelle explained in the episode that aired on October 13th. The rest of the kids don't really have much of any kind of connection with him. Savannah, who graduated from high school in 2023, feels that her 4 older brothers have assumed the position of a father figure. The girl has even admitted to Janelle that she hopes to have her siblings marry her. I've talked to Savannah about it and she's like, look, I just have come to realize that this is who he is, said Janelle. He's going to be kind of that dad who shows up and we have a lot of fun and then he's gone. I can meet him where he's at. It's okay. But Janelle is less understanding. She bemoaned, I'm just so frustrated with Kody. Look, I've seen this happen. I have several women I've worked with over the years who divorced, and then the father just goes MIA with the kids. Gabriel took it very hard because Kody was someone who would take Gabriel with him on business trips, Janelle said early in their father-son conflict. Kody was a totally engaged father until the last few years. In the episode that aired on October 13th, Gabriel stated, I told Dad that if he doesn't change and he can't take accountability, then I just won't ever see him again. And I'm perfectly okay with that. Despite this, Gabriel is still a little upset over what he did to upend his father. According to Janelle, he's at peace that his dad is not in his life. And, that's what I hope for all of my kids. And I think they're all getting here. Kody, for his part, seemed to be accepting of the circumstances. In a confessional, he said, I'm really sorry that Gabriel feels that way. I have reached out to him multiple times only to get rejected. But it wasn't from a lack of trying on my part. Despite being the final wife to divorce Kody, Meri formally ended their relationship in late 2022 by asking for and getting what their church refers to as a release on the basis of abandonment. On the October 13th episode, she said, I know he doesn't like that word because he doesn't feel like he abandoned me. I feel like he did. She believes that he essentially disregarded her until she decided to go so that he could say, my hands are clean. Furthermore, Kody acknowledged that he had a small plan. He said, I had moved on a long time ago, during a confession. But let's just be honest here. I was afraid of what she would do if I ripped off that Band-Aid. It's because Meri was never loyal to me, ever. That's what I've been worried about. It's just kind of reputation because when you get divorced, your reputation is trashed. Meri claimed that instead, it was hers that was being damaged. It's really just sad that Kody's talking about our marriage the way that he's talking about it, she stated. It feels like the narrative has changed with him, but the things that he's saying about me to other people and the people are believing are not true. Thanks to an exercise suggested by their marital and family therapist in Las Vegas, Christina discovered years before she and Kody parted ways that they weren't a good fit on paper. And Kody wasn't any of the things on the list. Christine disclosed on the October 20th episode after being asked to write down the qualities she wanted in a husband. It included being a good communicator, being present in her and her children's lives, and being attracted to her. I told him the list, and he's like, I'm not any of those things for you. I said, no, you're not. She rapidly realized that her now husband David Woolley was her soulmate, in part because of the missive. She exclaimed, family is his most important thing to him. About the father of 8 who is widowed. He's owned his own drywall business. He has a reputation of being honest and real with people, and he's really a great communicator. Robyn was initially favored by many viewers since she was seen to be one of Kody's most loyal and obedient wives. Robyn really embraced the ideals of polygamy and came across as sympathetic and helpful on television. Robyn frequently took on shared parenting responsibilities and helped with the other spouse's children, giving the impression that she was a dedicated and helpful member of the multiple home. Robyn seemed to really enjoy being a part of Kody's huge family. But when her true hues were exposed by the peeling paint, she was unable to maintain this look indefinitely. In the 2011 episode, an anxious Robyn finally tells the family about her impending pregnancy. Kody was the one who said, "Truly won't be the small one anymore in 7.5 months. The older children's reactions were completely understandable, as was Janelle's, but Kody's words gave the impression that he was pushing his youngest aside to make room for a new child with his new wife, replacing Truly and having no more room for her in his life. To his family, including the rest of his children, and most of them didn't react with a smile. Mariah and Leon's glum expressions were due to their expectation that their mother would give them a new sibling, but more significantly, Robyn did gain villain status for telling Mary about her pregnancy first despite knowing that she had fertility issues. They had recently moved and were still attempting to settle in when they learned that another baby was on the way. From Janelle's point of view, especially when considering things practically and economically, this meant that they would have to provide for another person with already limited resources.